Do you know whom Ratchett really was?
Do you know who this man Ratchett really was?
He was not Ratchett?
His name was Cassetti. He was responsible for the death of a small child named Daisy Armstrong.
My God! I have heard of that. The kidnapping. It was wicked. Wicked! We are not so wicked as that in Germany.
Did you see anyone as you returned to your compartment?
Only an attendant.
He was sitting at the end of the corridor.
No, Fräulein. He came out of one of the compartments in the middle. 2 or 3 doors from Madame la Princesse.
The attendant was Michel.
The attendant was Michel.
Our regular attendant. No, Fräulein.
What? What did he look like?
Small, dark. He had a little mustache. His voice, when he said, "Pardon," was weak and high-pitched. Higher than mine. I'd never seen him before.
Yeah, the small, dark man with a woman's voice. Was it Mrs. Hubbard's compartment?
Was it Mrs. Hubbard's compartment?
It may have been.
But I saw him come out. You weren't in the corridor.
I most certainly was. He nearly ran into me, apologized, and hurried off in the direction of the salon car. A bell began ringing, but I do not think he answered it.
Then the bell started ringing.
Yes, Fräulein.
Good day to you, mademoiselle.
I'd grab this. Mary Hermione Debenham. Another H. Many H's. Oh, the Queen.
I'll put this into my scrapbook so I can take a closer look at it later.
Steal everything. Oh my goodness. Going to take... Oh, right. Thought you'd double-cross us and get away with it, did you? Not on your life. We're out to get you, Ratchett. And we will get you. We're going to take you for a ride, Ratchett. Sometime soon. We're gonna get you, see?
I see nothing remarkable.
The shoes. Shoes are remarkable. No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
Nothing to find.
I like that he's just letting me do this.
Say, this is mighty nice. What can I do for you?
My name is Antoinette Marceau. I'm assisting Monsieur Poirot with his investigation. You know the name, perhaps?
It does seem familiar, only I always thought it was a dressmaker.
Monsieur, for all our sakes, please do not repeat that in front of Monsieur Poirot. Do you promise me?
I think I just about promised you anything. Oh, darn it, there I go, sounding like Mr. Ratchett. You had enough of him, I expect, at the market in Istanbul. I didn't mean anything by it except, well, except it's the truth. I love your accent. A little bit of British, a little bit of French, a lot of heaven. Darn it, there I go again.
It is not a problem, Monsieur, but we must be serious now, don't you agree?
Serious, yes. Yes, of course.
May I have your passport, please?
May I have your passport, please?
Sure. Here you go.
Hector.
What is your full name, age, and address?
Hector Willard McQueen. I'm 28. You're about what? 24, 25?
Your address, Monsieur McQueen?
That's right, Hector. Always saying the wrong thing. That's me. I live at 58 Warren Street, New York.
Right. You are Monsieur Ratchett's secretary?
You are Monsieur Ratchett's secretary?
Yes, for just over a year now. I met him in Persia. I'd come over from New York to look into an oil concession. I don't suppose you want to hear all about that. Getting oil out of Persia can get pretty difficult these days. Anyway, my friends and I had been let in rather badly over it. Mr. Ratchett was in the same hotel. He just had a row with his secretary, so he offered me the job. He was collecting antiquities, but not knowing any languages, was having kind of a hard time of it. I was pretty down and out, so I jumped at it.
Row. He had a row with his secretary, not a row. What can you tell me about Monsieur Ratchett?
What can you tell me about Monsieur Ratchett?
The actual truth is, Miss Marceau, it is Miss, isn't it? Wait, don't have to answer. None of my business. The truth is, I don't know anything about him. He never spoke of himself or his life in America.
Well, you must have some theory about him, Monsieur McQueen.
You must have formed some theory about him, Monsieur McQueen.
Well, yes, I did. For one thing, I don't believe Ratchett was his real name. I think he left America in order to escape from someone or something. I think he was successful until a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, what happened then?
He began to get letters, threatening letters.
Did you see these letters?
Did you see these threatening letters?
Yes, it was part of my job to attend to his correspondence.
Do you still have the letters?
I've still got a couple in my files.
No, you don't. Oops. How did he react when he first received the letter?
How did Monsieur Ratchett act when he received the first letter?
It's difficult to say. He passed it off with a laugh in that quiet way of his. But somehow, I felt that there was a good deal going on underneath the quietness.
Did you know that he had asked Monsieur Poirot to help him?
Did you know that Monsieur Ratchett had asked Monsieur Poirot to help him?
No, I had no idea.
Did you like your employer?
Did you like your employer?
No, I did not.
Why not?
I can't exactly say. He was usually quite pleasant in his manner.
But...
I'll tell you the truth. Antoinette, sorry, Miss Marceau. I disliked and distrusted him. He was, I am sure, a cruel and dangerous man.
Well, were you on good terms with him, though?
Were you on good terms with your employer?
This is where I'm supposed to go all goose-fleshy and shifty-eyed, right? Like some thriller? You got nothing on me! And so on? Yeah, sorry, but Ratchett and I were on perfectly good terms.
When did you last see Monsieur Ratchett alive?
Last evening about 10 o'clock, I guess. Masterman fetched me. Mr. Ratchett wanted me to take down some memoranda for him.
On what subject?
Some pottery he'd bought, and a statue we were bringing back to Paris with us. It's in the baggage car.
Monsieur McQueen, you are correct. Ratchett was an alias.
I knew it! Who was he?
He was Cassetti, the man behind several notorious kidnapping cases, including the famous affair of little Daisy Armstrong.
That damn skunk! If I'd known that, I'd have cut off my right hand before I'd write another letter for him. May he burn in hell!
I didn't mean to upset you.
I have reason to be upset. My father was the district attorney who handled the case. I saw Mrs. Armstrong more than once. She was a lovely woman, so gentle and heartbroken. If ever a man deserved what he got, Cassetti's the guy. I'm rejoicing. A man like that wasn't fit to live.
You almost feel you could have murdered him yourself?
I do. Seems I'm kind of incriminating myself here.
Can you describe your movements last night?
Can you describe your movements last night?
Let's see. I fell into conversation with that Englishman, Colonel Arbuthnot. Then I went to take down some memoranda for letters Mr. Ratchett wanted written, like I told you. When I came out, the Colonel was down the hall waiting while the attendant made up his bed. He came along back to my room here, and we discussed world politics. The government of India, the Wall Street crisis. I don't, as a rule, cotton much to Britishers. They're a stiff-necked lot. But Arbuthnot is all right.
Did you hear or see anyone in the corridor while you were talking?
Did you hear or see anyone in the corridor while you were talking?
Let's see. Yes. The attendant passed along once from the direction of the restaurant car. I caught a glimpse of his uniform. Then, I do remember some woman in a silk, scarlet something or other. Again, just a glimpse. She was headed the other way, towards the restaurant car.
Did you see her return?
No, now that you mention it, I don't think I did. But I suppose she must have.
What time was it the Colonel left you?
What time was it that the Colonel left you?
Pretty late. Getting on for 2 o'clock, I'd say.
What happened after he left?
What happened after Colonel Arbuthnot said goodnight?
I called the attendant to make up my bed, and then hit the sack.
What sack did you hit, and why?
I went to bed. Slept till morning.
What's the point of putting slang in if you're just gonna be really, really stupid about it? No, what does that mean? People know what that means. Random quibbling. So you were both in here when the train stopped?
You were together when the train stopped.
Yeah, shook me up a bit, but the Colonel was as cool as ice water. He's been in some tough scrapes, I guess. A near train wreck didn't even make him blink.
Do you smoke the pipe?
Do you smoke a pipe, Monsieur McQueen?
Nope, don't smoke at all, as a matter of fact. I know they say it's healthy, but I don't believe them.
During the evening, did you leave the train at all?
During the evening, did you leave the train at all?
Only when Arbuthnot and I got out at Belgrade to stretch our legs, when we saw you. But it was bitterly cold, so we hopped back on again.
Which door did you use?
The one closest to here.
Do you remember if the door you used was bolted?
Yes, I seem to remember it was. At least there was a kind of bar that fitted across the handle.
Did you replace the bar when you returned to the train?
You know, I don't think I did. I remember now. I left it unbolted for you. Say, listen, since we know that Ratchett was really that swine Cassetti, there's something you should know.
Yes.
One night, late, after he'd received those threatening letters, I heard him working at my typewriter. He never did that. He always dictated his letters to me. From then on, wherever we were, he insisted on access to the safe. Whatever that document was, it was important enough that he traveled with it wherever we went. If there wasn't a safe available, he had one installed. I know for a fact he had one installed in the security room in the baggage car. I saw it when we were loading his crate.
Do you have the combination?
If he didn't trust me to type it for him, you really think he'd give me the combination?
Thank you most kindly, Monsieur McQueen.
Right, I think we've taken everything from here. Let's go through. When in doubt,
Nothing of interest here.
I think I've already looked there. Hello. Oh, you're the valet.
Miss?
Monsieur Masterman,
Yes.
my name is Antoinette Marceau. I'm assisting Monsieur Poirot in his inquiries.
Yes, the attendant has explained that to me. The service is quite good, I must say. I prize good service highly, of course. My compliments.
Thank you. I would like to ask you some questions.
Yes, I expect you would. I shall help in any way I can.
Well, first of all, may I have your passport?
May I have your passport, please?
Of course. Here you are.
Your full name, age, and address.
Edward Henry Masterman, 51. 21 Friar Street, Clerkenwell.
You're the valet of Monsieur Ratchett.
You are the valet of Monsieur Ratchett.
Yes.
When did you last see him?
When did you last see Monsieur Ratchett?
It must have been about 9:35 or 9:40 last night, miss.
What happened when you saw him?
Can you tell me what happened when you saw Monsieur Ratchett?
I went into Mr. Ratchett as usual, miss, and attended to his wants.
Was his manner the same as usual?
Was his manner the same as usual?
Well, miss, I think he was upset.
In what way upset?
Over our letter he'd been reading. He asked me if it was I who had put it in his compartment. Of course, I told him I hadn't done any such thing, but he swore at me and found fault with everything I did.
What were your duties exactly?
What were your duties exactly?
To fold or hang up his clothes, miss, put his dental plate in water, and see that he had everything he needed.
Did he ever take a sleeping draught?
Did your master ever take a sleeping draught?
Always when traveling by train, miss. He said he couldn't sleep otherwise. Even the express affected him, I am sorry to say.
Did he take it last night?
I poured it into a glass and put it on the table for him, though I didn't actually see him drink it.
Was it unusual for him to swear at you?
Was it unusual for him to swear at you?
Oh no, miss. He lost his temper easily. It just depended what had happened to upset him.
Did you mix his usual dose of the sleeping draught?
Did you mix his usual dose of the sleeping draught?
A half dose only, miss, at Mr. Ratchett's request. I can't say the reason.
You wanted to be awake. What happened next? When? What? It's horribly out of order. Do you know what drug he was in the habit of taking?
Do you know what drug he was in the habit of taking?
I couldn't say I'm sure, miss. There's no name on the bottle. Just sleeping draught. And to be taken at bedtime.
What happened next?
What happened next?
To what?
I asked him if there was anything else he required. He asked me to send for Mr. McQueen. Then I left him.
When was his usual bedtime aboard a train?
When was his usual bedtime? When aboard the train?
Midnight, miss, or later. With the avalanche last night, I fancy he wouldn't fall asleep until closer to 1.
Was he an early riser?
Was Monsieur Ratchett an early riser?
It depended, miss, upon his mood. Sometimes he'd get up for breakfast. Sometimes he wouldn't get up till just on lunchtime. I would wait until the attendant came to collect me.
How long have you been with Monsieur Ratchett?
How long have you been with Monsieur Ratchett?
Just over 9 months, miss. Before that, I was with Sir Henry Tomlinson in Grosvenor Square. I was with him for several years before he left for East Africa.
Well, did you like him?
Did you like your employer, Masterman?
I should hardly like to say that, miss. He was a generous employer.
But you didn't like him.
Shall we put it that I don't care very much for Americans, miss?
Did you know that he had enemies?
Did you know that your master had enemies?
Yes, miss. I had heard him discussing some disquieting letters with Mr. McQueen.
Do you know of any bad blood between them?
Do you know of any bad blood between your master and Monsieur McQueen?
No, no, miss. Mr. McQueen was a very pleasant gentleman. For an American.
Have you ever been in America?
Have you ever been in America?
No, miss.
Well, do you remember the Armstrong case?
Do you remember the Armstrong kidnapping case?
Well, yes, I remember reading something about it. A little baby girl, wasn't it? Very shocking affair. But what has that...
Your employer, Monsieur Ratchett, was the man behind the kidnapping.
I'm at a loss for words, miss. I can hardly believe it.
What did you do after leaving your master?
What did you do after leaving your master?
I told Mr. McQueen, miss, that the master wanted him. Then I came along here to my compartment and read. I was in bed by 10:30.
Do you smoke a pipe?
Are you a pipe smoker?
No, miss. I only smoke cigarettes. Gaspers, miss.
Who do you share this room with?
A big Italian fellow.
Does he speak English?
A kind of English, miss. He's been in America. Chicago, I understand. He was in here playing cards with another American, a Mr. Hardman. The game broke up soon after I entered, and Mr. Hardman left.
Do you and the Italian gentleman talk together much?
No, miss. I prefer to read. At present, I'm quite enjoying Love's Captive by a Mrs. Arabella Richardson. At about 10:30, the Italian fellow wanted to go to bed, so the attendant came in and made the beds up.
Did you go to bed then?
I went to bed, but I didn't sleep, miss. I had a toothache.